he's been very focused on Greenland.
Yes.
And you tell me what we got that made him say, okay, now I'm happy. Because he gave that speech at the UN, like, we need to have Greenland and we need to own it because no one would defend something on lease.
Yeah.
But then by the end of the UN summit, he came out saying, that we're satisfied. But we seem to only have gotten permission that we might have had already to build more military bases on a couple of their outposts.
No, we definitely have gotten much more than we initially had. So first of all, again, I think it's important to define the interest here. Greenland is very important to America's national security. Our entire missile defense system, by the way, would be inoperable if the Russians or the Chinese controlled Greenland. So God forbid, I don't think it's going to happen, to be clear, but God forbid some foreign country launches a missile, an ICBM at the United States of America, we couldn't defend ourselves if a foreign country controlled Greenland. And by the way, the Chinese and the Russians have both expressed an interest in controlling Greenland. Okay, so what is the defensive mechanism for Greenland? You have a population of about 60,000 people on a massive territory, right? That's like the size of my hometown, and I didn't grow up in a big town. And then on top of that, you have Denmark, which has been one of the better NATO allies, to be clear, but has still radically underinvested in security compared to the Russians and the Chinese. So the president has said very simply, we are on the hook for this island. Like it's one of those unwritten rules that everybody knows that if the Chinese or the Russians affected one of our critical missile defense systems, we would necessarily defend that, but we're not getting anything for it. This is an unfair situation. The United States has no ownership over this island, and we don't get any of the benefit. So let's actually rewrite the rules here a little bit and say if the United States is going to protect the entire world's missile defense system, primarily our own, but other people benefit from it, we should get some benefit from the bargain. Now, it's interesting because I actually was sitting in this room, one of the rare times I've used this ceremonial office for official business, me and Marco and a lot of the leaders from Denmark and Greenland had a great conversation. And it's funny when you see...
Is this one where they ran for their cigarettes when they exited the building?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think they did. They were stressed.
I did not follow up. I did not see what they did afterwards. We had a good meeting. It's so funny to me because the Europeans, they're so friendly in private and they're willing to make a lot of accommodations, and then publicly they attack us and they say, we're not going to work with the Americans. We're not going to do anything with the Americans. I'm sorry, it's all bogus. We all know, everybody knows that this situation is going to come to a resolution. I think it's going to be a resolution that's good for Europe. Most importantly, it'll be a resolution that's good for the United States of America. But the idea that they haven't made any accommodations or concessions to the United States, it's not true.